Hi, Brian Thompson here again with Sapphire Scientific and Legend Brands. We're going to talk about something today. It's very important this time of year, winterizing your truck mount. Now you have to understand, the freezing is not covered under warranty. So winterizing your unit is vital to the longevity of your heat exchangers and your pumps. Right, the first step in winterizing your truck mount is to evacuate all the water that's within the truck mount itself throughout the water passages. So we're going to use an open flow hose here. You'll notice for safety purposes we've actually taken a 2x4, drilled a hole through it, put the hose into that. You'll see here in a minute when I attach it to the machine, I can actually put my foot on there and hold it down to the ground. That way when you're evacuating your machine, let's say you just got through using it, the water's hot, obviously this could become a whip hose, very dangerous. I can put my foot on here, secure this line, so when I'm emptying the machine I don't have to worry about scalding myself with water. So we're going to go ahead and connect the male end to the pressure outlet on the front of the machine. You'll see here now I can actually hold on to that hose and keep it stabilized if I need to. What we're going to do from this point, we've got our hose attached. Obviously we don't have any water going into the machine because our purpose here is to empty the machine of all the water. So once our hose is attached, we can go ahead and turn down our pressure regulator because we don't need pressure. We're going to start up our machine. So we'll crank our machine over till it starts. And what we're going to do is turn our pressure pump on. That's the only thing I need to turn on here. We'll go ahead and turn on our pressure pump. The water then is going to flow out of the machine. Now we want to make sure we get as much of the water out of the machine as possible. So run the machine until you see that water spurting out. That's about as much water as you're going to need out of the machine. So that's step one. All right, we've done step one, which was to empty the machine of all the water. Our second step is then to introduce 100% glycol ether antifreeze into the system. Now, depending on the size of your unit, you're going to use 1 to 3 gallons. Now, on the antifreeze, this is reusable. So understand this. We're going to reclaim this antifreeze back into an acceptable bottle, which is the one you took it out of. And when we go to reuse this though, we're going to test it. You can buy an antifreeze tester at any AutoZone, Checker, any of those types of auto parts stores. You test your antifreeze. Antifreeze is good to -40. We want to test that antifreeze before we reuse it if we've used it a couple of times and make sure it is at least 0. Anything 0 and above towards 32 degrees, we want to replace that. Remember, it's good to 40 below, so we want to go ahead and make sure that it's at least to 0. All right, we've introduced the antifreeze into the fresh water box. You'll notice that my funnel, I just took a regular fuel line, taped it on that because obviously when it's in the van, you're not going to be able to get a funnel up in there, so it's easier to use a funnel with a extension on there. We took off our cap. We introduced the 100% glycol ether antifreeze, 1 to 3 gallons according to the size of your machine. And now we're going to go to the front of the machine and circulate it through the machine. All right, so we've emptied our machine. We filled our fresh water box through our radiator cap full of 100% antifreeze. Remember, 100% antifreeze. Now it's time to recirculate it through the machine. So basically what we're going to do is use a looped hose from the pressure outlet to the water inlet. Therefore, we'll be recirculating our antifreeze through the machine. We need to winterize our chemical metering system. So we're going to take our suction line out of our chemical mix tank, go ahead and put it in the antifreeze. The machine is running, and then we're going to go ahead and go to prime, which is then going to start the suction. You'll start to see bubbles in your sight glass. Make sure you get all the bubbles out. Okay. When you start to see the green, you want to see the green or whatever color your antifreeze is, fill completely up to the top of that sight glass and then turn it off. Then you can stop your machine and your machine is completely winterized at that point. What we've done here is we've hooked our solution line in line with our recycle hose. Our machine is already full of antifreeze. We recommend that you take your wand, any of your tools, if you have hard surface tools, or your solution lines into an area that's above 32 degrees. However, if you cannot do that, you must winterize your hoses and your wand These valves will crack, these ends will split if they freeze. So we've got it in line here where we've looped it through so you can winterize your solution lines as well. Now obviously what you could do for your actual wand is hook it in line and put the end of the wand into a bucket, 5-gallon bucket, and just open up your wand one time and flow antifreeze through the valve into the bucket. All right, so we've winterized our machine, we've gone ahead and emptied our machine of all the antifreeze, but now we're going to actually use the machine at the customer's home. So we need to make sure that we flush all of our antifreeze out of our solution lines, our tool, and our chemical metering. So go ahead and get a 5-gallon bucket, hook all your lines up, your wand up, put the head of the wand into the bucket, have your water flowing into your machine like you're going to use it, and turn it on and fill up that 5-gallon bucket to flush all the antifreeze out of the system. And make sure you go ahead and cycle your metering valve here from prime to on, and then go ahead and pull your trigger, empty the machine of all the residual antifreeze that would be in your hoses and your wand and your chemical metering until it runs clear, and then you're good. Now, we also want to make sure that you understand that if you're using any type of transfer tank, let's say you've got a water pond, saddle tanks, you're going to want to empty those tanks and run your transfer pump dry to make sure that you don't freeze on that as well. So be aware that your tanks and your pump need to be drained as well.